Welcome again. It's Yetunde Makinde and it's another edition of Politics is Life. In this section, I want to discuss this very quickly. I've titled this one Types of Yoruba people. In the modern world, I think, my opinion, that there are 4 types of Yoruba people. We have the pro-West, pro-Israel Yoruba people. These ones are usually Christians. This kind of people, this category of Yoruba people, usually have a worldview that is shaped by Western ideology. And then the second type of Yoruba people are those whose worldview are shaped by Arab culture. You know, they tend to see the world through the lens of Arab culture. These ones, of course, are Muslims. They're pro-Islam and they're Muslims. Then the third category of Yoruba people are Omo Oduarere. That's the group I belong in. This category, this group, we have Yoruba. Well, we have our worldview is influenced by Yoruba philosophy. We are mostly adherent of Ifa teachings. You know, as a matter of fact, in the modern world, whether it's the pro-West Yoruba people or the pro-Arab, pro-Islam Yoruba people, they both, including the 4th category, which I haven't mentioned, but I'll mention shortly. All 3 of them, but most especially the pro-West and the pro-Arab, pro-Islam group, tend to they demonize Ifa teachings. They know nothing about it, but they demonize it. And you ask yourself, how and why they're able to do this? How do you critique something you haven't? How do you condemn and judge something? How do you form an opinion about a subject that you haven't studied? That's how you know that it's the reason they're able to do that is because they're still largely colonized in their mind, even though the physical shackles are off the limbs. The mind is still shackled, because only a stupid person will form an opinion about a subject matter they haven't studied. To be able to form an opinion about any subject at all, you first must study it in depth. You know, you must study it. So if I is demonized, it's condemned, it's judged by these 2 groups, the pro-West Yoruba people and the pro-Islam Yoruba people. But those of us who have taken our time to take a look at the traditions of our ancestors have found it to be a beautiful philosophical system, and we basically just retraced our steps and went back to our root. Now, the 4th category of Yoruba people are Yoruba atheists. This group also are largely influenced by Western ideology, and they also tend to condemn Yoruba philosophical system, which is the root of which is Ifa teachings. You know, they also tend to castigate it and insult adherent. Of course, we have atheists who do not cast slurs at us, at religious people generally. They tend to the thing with atheists is they try to lump Onishashe with Abrahamic people, when Ifa is not a religion. Ifa is every culture in the world has its way of life. The way of life of Aomo Koto Jire is found in Ifa. Every native culture has one. Indians have theirs, Chinese people have theirs, Native Americans have theirs. Everywhere you have native cultures, they all have their way of life. You know, the way they live, the way they do things. The culture of a place is the way they do things in that place. And the way we do things, everything that we do, is found, everything pertaining to Awamokoto Jire is found in, it's found in Ifa teachings. Everything that we do, everything that governs our lives, that govern our lives as a collective, is found in Ifa. So there's nothing you want to say about Yoruba people that you won't discuss Ifa. It's not possible. There are those, usually Muslims, who tell, even some Christians, to religious people generally, who tell you that, culture is different from religion. But Ifa is not religion. Ifa is the way of life. Like I said, culture is the way of life of a people. So you can't tell me Ifa is religion and then there is culture, which is the Sheshe. No. It's interwoven. It's interlaced. It's the same thing. It's one and the same thing. However, Christianity is not the way. Okay, Christianity is the way, and is the way of life of which people? All three Abrahamic faiths were invented. They're not organic. When we can trace the sources of all three of them: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. They all have their origin. No, Christianity has its origin in Europe. Judaism has its origin in, well, we can call it the Middle East now, but in ancient times it was called Asia Minor. You know, smaller Asia, because Middle East is still a part of Asia. But we can trace the root of these three religions. And only these three are religions, really, as far as I know. I'm not sure about the ancient Persian tradition, Zoroastrianism. I'm not sure if it may be religion, but it's not Abrahamic. All right, it may be religion because Ahuda Mazda, I think, is the originator. Now I don't know if that the Ahuda Mazda is a historical figure. I don't know. So back to what I'm saying. 4 categories of Yoruba people: pro-West Christian Yoruba people, pro-Arab, pro-Islam Muslim Yoruba people, and Yoruba atheists, and then people like me who are dead to the traditions of our ancestors, making me Oduduarere, making me Omo Oduarere. The reason I did this, really why I did this, is because over the last few months I've noticed this ethnic bashing going on Twitter, you know, where all the different ethnic groups in Nigeria, there's been Edo, Bini, Igbo, you know, all of them, Yoruba, all of them clashing. I try as much as possible to stay away from these conversations for personal reasons. I have my reasons for not jumping into it, delving into it. And this 4 category of Yoruba people that I've just listed is actually, I've actually pulled it out from, you know, from the trends that I've followed, the things that I've read, the utterances, the write-ups, the posts, the tweets of many people over the period of time that this ethnic bashing has been going on. And but there's going to come a time very soon tí àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá tó máa ní láti tú èrò wọn pa. That time is coming. It's coming. And it's not just something that's going to happen in Nigeria. It's global, where different people of different ethnic groups are all going to have to redefine who they are. They're going to have to retrace their steps. We're already seeing it happening in Iran. You know, Iranians are pushing back. Iranians are saying they're not Arabs, that they're Persians, they're Farsis, they're Parsis. They're saying all these things. They're saying they're tired and fed up with Islam. That time is coming where everybody, all ethnic groups, will need to redefine, you know, take a new stance. in the new dynamics that are setting in, that is coming. I've done a treatise. I've titled it, I've temporarily titled it Reigniting the Spirit of Egbe Omo Odudua. It's purely political. It's socio-political. It's free. I'll put the link to it. By the time I'm publishing this video, I'll put the link to where you can get the treatise. It's free. I'm putting it out for free, where you can get a copy and read it. I know Nigerians don't like to read things that are not fictive stories, you know, but it's about time we begin to cultivate that habit of reading books that are non-fiction. Like my book, of course, it's non-fiction. It's political. It discusses solutions to our socio-economic, socio-political challenges. We need to cultivate that habit of reading books that cover history, politics, philosophy, economics, basic science, astronomy, astrology, serious subjects. Because the time is coming where play, you know, laughing over everything, laughing things off, would no longer be able to hold anyone. Because the mind is the final frontier. What you got up here and what's in your mind will be the currency with which you can, you know, transact anything, with which you can relate with others. So if your brain is empty and there's nothing in your mind, you know, your mind is vacuous, empty, there's nothing substantial in it, you may not be able to transact. That time is coming. So you need to get your mind, you need to get your mind educated. You need to get yourself educated. You need to begin to develop your mind, because the mind is the final frontier. The mind really is the final frontier. It's not about what you profess. It's not about what you confess. It's not even about who you know. It's about the content of your mind. The final battles of earth will be the battle of the mind. That's why the mind is the final frontier. So until I come your way next time, it's Yetunde Makinde saying, Ire.